Marucci. I was only recently asked to make this presentation because the Chamber Board member, Township Committee member, and former associate of Carlo's, retired police officer Frank Cooney, ran into a scheduling conflict, and he couldn't attend tonight's event. So in the little time that I had, I tried to find out more about this Carlo Marucci. So I did what any good investigator or stalker would do. I Googled him, and you can find pretty much anything on the internet. Carlo lives in Montville, was born and raised there, married a beautiful Italian girl from Parsippany, and has two smart and wonderful daughters. No. Wait. No, I'm sorry. That's actually me, Carl. I live in Montville, was born and raised, married a beautiful Italian girl from Parsippany, and have two smart and wonderful daughters. Carlo, who lives in Montville, born and raised, married a beautiful Italian girl from Parsippany, has two smart and wonderful sons. Sorry for the mix-up. Well, while Google results often had links to things like, has Carlo Marucci ever been arrested, and reference to something named the Facebook, I found Lieutenant had accumulated several accolades over the years, including 2 Honorable Service Awards, 2 Unit Citation Awards, and 2 Life-Saving Awards. Apparently, Carlo was also honored by this organization in 2011 in recognition of one of those life-saving events. As I read on, I learned that the other recipient of the award that year, who was also recognized for saving a resident's life, was Frank Cooney. Yes, the same Frank Cooney who couldn't be here tonight because of a scheduling conflict. It seems that perhaps Mr. Cooney was a little jelly that his former co-worker was being honored again. I don't know. But it was all coming back to me, and I realized that not only was I there that evening when these 2 heroes received their awards, but it was presented to them by yours truly. So again, the coincidences abound. A little more about Carlo. He was hired as a patrolman by the Montville Township Police Department in 2001. He attained the rank of sergeant in 2012, and in 2015 was promoted to lieutenant, where he serves as the shift commander of Squad 1 within the patrol division. Carlo is also the head firearms instructor and is one of the field training officers for new patrolmen. But we're not here to simply commend him for his curricula vitae, but rather for his particular cachet. See what I did there? In the area of drug enforcement. In 2016, Lieutenant Marucci led the department in drug arrests, an unfortunate but essential function of today's law enforcement body. There were about 1.5 million drug arrests in the U.S. last year. While less than half of those were associated with marijuana, the growing use of opioids has increased the number of deaths and arrests, and both are expected to rise. Every effort to contain their use, no matter how small, can and often will save a life. When these drugs take hold of an individual, often the whole family becomes entangled. Police involvement not only serves to disrupt the supply, but also provide victims with an opportunity to escape from its grasp. And Carlo did more than his fair share in 2016. Most notably, and beyond his other important contributions, he arrested 14 individuals over 5 separate instances, seizing over 570 bags of heroin. No small feat, especially considering the efforts that are made by the traffickers and the dealers to elude detection at all costs. We should include in those arrests at least one additional life-saving event for that unknown individual, someone's son or daughter who didn't die as a result of Carlo's actions. Others have commended him, commented on his accomplishments. Captains Andrew Caggiano and Mark Olson said of their colleague, Carlo has been a mentor to the officers under his command. He works hand in hand with them and always provides assistance, guidance, and direction. They went on to say, Lieutenant Marucci leads by example and has brought pride and distinction to the Montville Township Police Department. Even President Trump had weighed in. He weighed in, tweeting just a few moments ago. These awards are so boring. Terrible show. I'm going to watch football. I already know the winners. Sad, frowny face. I know that when asked, Carlo will say that he's only doing his job, and that it's the efforts of all of his fellow police officers that are making a difference in our community. And that's true. So I would be remiss if I didn't express the same gratitude to our entire police department on behalf of the chamber and everyone here. But tonight, we join Carlo's friends and family in congratulating him on his accomplishments. And I should make special mention of someone who isn't here tonight. Carlo, I know that your mother would be more proud than anyone else here tonight. And that includes Frank Cooney, who isn't here because he had another commitment. Again, just saying. So won't you please welcome Lieutenant Carlo Marucci as we congratulate him on receiving the 2016 Montville Township Chamber of Commerce Public Safety Award.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank the officers and directors of the Chamber of Commerce for the Chamber's 2016 Public Safety Award. I'd like to also thank those who nominated me for this award. I cannot also forget to thank my beautiful wife, Kristen, who is always supportive of my career and does a wonderful job of raising our two amazing children, Giancarlo and Gianni, when I'm not always there due to shift work. I appreciate being recognized by the public for doing a good job as a police officer, and trust me, it isn't easy. Especially today, it isn't often that police get praised for doing a good job. It's not often that I have the opportunity to speak in front of a large group of people, and I'm fine with that. So rather than tell you how fortunate I am to be in the position I am within the police department, and how thankful I am, how I thank God every day for what He has given to me and my family, I'm going to tell you that there could have been a lot of different officers up here now giving the same speech rather than me. I can't express how great it is to be surrounded by so many great men and women within the police department. These people I speak of are the future of this department, and trust me when I tell you this township is in great hands. Not much of what we do get noticed by the public, and that's why I say there could have been many officers standing up here instead of me. In 2015, Montville Police Department had 420 arrests. 2016, we had 362. That's 782 arrests among 37 officers. Those numbers don't even include the DWIs. What you have here is a young, proactive, and a well-trained police department. In the last 2 years, some of these officers that I'm speaking of go out there every day looking for criminal activity. Officers like Keith Donnelly, 61 arrests. Alex Yang, 72 arrests. Robert Ketzner, 95 arrests. Dan Casillo, 86 arrests. Rick Tishner, 87 arrests. For some of these guys, that's an arrest every 21 hours of work. And I know it's not all about the numbers. For instance, in 2016, you have Doug Vanderhoof and Officer Tony Condorso that saved the life of a 29-year-old male from a drug overdose by administering Narcan on the victim. And both officers received the life-saving award. Again, in February 2016, you have Officer Jason Bluestein and Officer Dan Casillo broke through a bathroom door to find a lifeless 20-year-old male. After administering CPR, the male recovered, and again, both officers received life-saving awards. 2015, Dan Salduti witnessed an unusual behavior by a female driving on Route 46. The female looked as if she was in distress inside the vehicle. Salduti stopped the vehicle, and further investigation revealed this female was being held against her will inside the vehicle for 4 hours while being abused by the male inside. This male was then arrested, charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and other similar charges. These are just some of the things these guys do. I won't even get into the tremendous amount of respect I have for all the veterans we have on the police department that served overseas to fight the war on terror. Yes, believe it or not, we have 4 veterans amongst our police department that were deployed in war for us. I often laugh to myself that I'm in charge of these young guys who have been overseas fighting for all of our freedom and been through more than any of us could ever imagine. I have another page, it's so stuck. So, this is why I try to continue to be proactive and aggressive on the road as a lieutenant. I have an obligation to myself, the township, and to the police officers on my squad to practice what I preach. I encourage these officers to go out there and be aggressive. It's no secret heroin is a problem. It's not just Montville. It's everywhere. Montville was one of the leading departments in the county for heroin arrests. That's not because we're a failure as a town or as a failure as a police department. Not only does it have to do with all major highways cutting through our town, it has to do with the patrol officers using target-specific patrol techniques, looking for the killer and finding it. It means your patrol officers are well educated on how to spot and locate heroin cutting through and coming into our township. We are proactive, not reactive. That's why our arrests are higher than most. As residents and business owners in town, you want your police officers to be aggressive and looking for criminal activity to deter it. A true story. A male from Pennsylvania was under arrest by Montville about a year ago. He told me the word in a town of Pennsylvania was don't drive through Montville with heroin because they'll find it. They told us dealers and users were actually detouring around Montville on Route 80 to avoid detection. That's the reputation you want your police department to have. So I can tell you that I'm proud and honored to be recognized by the Chamber of Commerce as being one of the successful officers in narcotic arrests. But I can also tell you that it's not just me. So I truly accept this award on the behalf of all the proactive, aggressive, well-educated, and well-rounded officers that all love doing what they do, looking for the narcotics and criminal activity to keep Montville safe. Thank you again.